Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sydney. Since the last time that we've spoken, I've acquired a cute little stack of books, so let's do a quick book haul. Now that I'm looking at the stack, a lot of these are actually gifts, and there is a fun little like non-bookish thing that I'm gonna haul with you guys too, because it came as a gift from one of my patrons and I'm really freaking excited about it. There are only a few actually that I bought myself. I'll distinguish which ones are which, but first let's just go right off the top of the stack. This first one is Spear Cuts Through Water by Simon Jimenez. This one is obviously thanks to Reagan over at Peruse Projects. She is one of my cozy comfort booktubers, and the reading vlog she did where she read this book really put it on my radar. I definitely am always looking for a new fantasy world to get lost in, and this one sounds really interesting. It says, 2 warriors shepherd an ancient god across a broken land to end the tyrannical reign of a royal family in this standalone epic fantasy, and I love that for it. I love a standalone fantasy, and it actually doesn't, well, it is it feels smaller than it is. This is actually 500 pages almost. It is over 500 pages, believe it or not. In Reagan's reading vlog, she just said that the way that the world and the story is structured was really interesting, something she hadn't read from before, and I always get really solid book recs from her, so it obviously went right on my TBR. I forgot I was steeping my tea. That's fine. Everything's fine. Everything's okay. Tastes lovely. This is lavender chamomile, in case you were wondering. Okay, next I'm really excited about these two. I was gifted the second and third books in the Of Blood and Bone series by John Gwynne. It is A Time of Blood and A Time of Courage. I have the first one up there, and it is A Time of Dread. This series is actually set in the same world as my favorite series of all time, which is the Faithful and the Fallen series, but this series takes place 100 or so years after the Faithful and the Fallen had concluded. This series is probably my top priority of this year to start and finish, because I just simply cannot wait to be back in this world. And I know that we have some of the same characters, but also we are introduced to new characters within this world, and I just know that I love John Gwynne's writing, his storytelling, his characters, his everything. I love everything about what he has created in The Faithful and the Fallen, so I am encouraged to think that this series will be nothing less than spectacular. So I cannot wait to dive in. Next is the Fairy Loot edition of Feybound by Sarah El Arifi. I am so in love with this edition. I do like the solid, like really deep reds of the original cover, but there's something really calming about this blue version. I don't know, I think it's stunning. The hardcover is debatedly one of my favorite parts of it. Like, are you joking? It is absolutely way too beautiful for words. The inside of the dust jacket, of course, is beautiful. Inside end pages, there's one, and then there is another. Like, it doesn't get much better than this. This is a beautiful book following Erin, who has known nothing but violence her whole life. Her sister Lettel is trying to make a living as a diviner, seeking prophecies for a better future. When a fatal mistake leads to Erin's exile from the elven lands, both sisters are forced into terrifying wilderness beyond their borders. There they encounter the impossible, the Fae Court. The Fae haven't been seen for a millennium, but now Erin and Lettel are thrust into their seductive world, torn between their loyalty to each other and their elven homeland and their hearts. I'm so excited to have this copy. I think it's absolutely beautiful. I think it sounds awesome. Simply can't wait to read it. Next, we have a gift from one of my patrons, Shari, and she sent me Drive Your Plow Over the Bones of the Dead, by Olga Tokarzuk. This book was put specifically on my TBR because Noelle from Noelle 7 Pages really liked it, and I feel like our tastes align a lot of the time. And this one takes place in a remote Polish village. Our main character devotes the dark winter days to studying astrology, translating the poetry of William Blake, and taking care of the summer homes of wealthy Warsaw residents. Her reputation as a crank and a recluse is only amplified by her not-so-secret preference for the company of animals over humans. Then a neighbor, Bigfoot, turns up dead. Soon, other bodies are discovered in increasingly strange circumstances. As suspicions mount, our main character inserts herself into the investigation, certain that she knows who done it, if only anyone would pay her mind. Sounds mysterious, sounds kind of whimsical in a way as well, and I just can't wait to try it out. Every year in the greenhouse, which is my Patreon, we do a Secret Santa gift exchange, and this year, the book that I got from my Secret Santa, Danielle, was We Ride Upon Sticks by Quan Barry, another one that I've heard really good things about. It is set in the town of Danvers, Massachusetts, home of the original 1692 witch trials. The 1989 Falcons will do anything to make it to the state finals, even if it means tapping into some devilishly dark powers. So it's like a sporty, witchy coming-of-age story, and I'm kind of obsessed with it. The cover is really fun. It just sounds so cute. It's like spellbinding, wickedly fun. and it says that the author writes with a sustained manic energy. This sounds so great. I can't wait. The next was a gift from my friend and patron Heather. She sent me Urbana Witch, A Year in the Forest by Cecilia Latari. And this is a really cute little nonfiction. It's a book that kind of covers a bunch of like rituals, ingredients, animals, everything that is found within the forest. And it is just absolutely stunning. I can't wait to just sit and flip through everything that it has because it's one of the most beautiful books I think I own, honestly. Look at them. Oh, wow. I just can't wait. I can't wait to look through everything. Wow, wow, wow. So beautiful. Ooh, this is another series that I'm really excited to read. Hopefully this year. This was a gift from my patrons Claire and Chris, which is really exciting. It is Age of Myth by Michael J. Sullivan. Another recommendation from Reagan. So you can tell that I don't second guess her. If she says it's good, I'm gonna believe it and just immediately buy it. This one is book 1 of the Legends of the First Empire. And for the Age of Myth, it says, since time immemorial, humans have worshipped the gods they call Frey. Truly a race apart, invincible in battle, masters of magic, and seemingly immortal. But when a god falls to a human blade, the balance of power between humans and those they thought were gods changes forever. Now, only a few stand between humankind and annihilation. Wraith, reluctant to embrace his destiny as the god killer, Suri, a young seer burdened by signs of impending doom, and Persephone, who must overcome personal tragedy to lead her people. The Age of Myth is over, the time of rebellion has begun. Honestly, it just sounds so good. Like it has a lot of like classic fantasy series tropes, which I love that. It sounds like it could even be like cozy in that sense too, you know what I mean? I'm so intrigued by everything about this, even the cover. Love it a lot. Can't wait. Next, Daryan sent me The Haunting of Ashburn House by Darcy Coates. I have already read and loved this, and I had it on my wish list because it is my favorite haunted house story, and I had listened to it while renovating this house through a audiobook hold from my library, and I just wanted to have a physical copy. This is a phenomenal haunted house book. I just love it so much. If you are wanting to try out a haunted house story, or if you know that you love them and you haven't read this one yet, I implore you to try this one out. Next, my friend Lisa sent me The Book of the Most Precious Substance by Sarah Gran. I actually don't know much about this. I just have heard good things, so I put it on my wish list, and Lisa bought it for me, and I'm so excited. It says, after an unbearable tragedy, former novelist Lily Albrecht has resigned herself to a dull, sexless life as a rare book dealer until she gets a lead on a book that could turn everything around. The Book of the Most Precious Substance is a 17th century manual on sex magic, rumored to be the most powerful occult book ever written, if it exists at all. And some of the wealthiest people on earth are willing to pay Lily and her partner a fortune to find it if they can. Will Lily fulfill her own desires and join them, or will the book destroy her as it has so many others? The Book of the Most Precious Substance is an addictive erotic thriller about the lengths we'll go to get what we need and want. Okay. Really interesting cover, really interesting synopsis. Honestly, sounds right up my alley. Next were my 2 book of the month choices. The first one, I got The Bullet Swallower by Elizabeth Gonzalez James. I love this cover a lot. The quick little synopsis at the bottom says, a family saga that's epic in scope and magical in its blood and based loosely on the author's own great-grandfather. The Bullet Swallower tackles border politics, intergenerational trauma, and the legacies of racism and colonialism in a lush setting and stunning prose that asks who pays for the sins of our ancestors and whether it is possible to be better than our forebears. Like, I love that. I was immediately interested in this book, and I am just so excited. So excited. The other choice was The Fury by Alex Michaelides. Oh, there's a person in there. I was about to say, like, I really don't like this cover at all, but there is someone's face, like, inside that little hole there. I still don't like it though. This synopsis is actually one of my favorites. I really like how it's written, and if it's indicative of how the story is told, then I think I could have a really good time with this book. It says, this is a tale of murder, or maybe that's not quite true. At its heart, it's a love story, isn't it? Lena is a reclusive ex-movie star and one of the most famous women in the world. Every year, she invites her closest friends to escape the English weather and spend Easter on her idyllic private Greek island. I tell you this because you may think you know the story. You probably read it at the time. It caused a real stir in the tabloids, if you remember. It had all the necessary ingredients for a press sensation, a celebrity, a private island cut off by the wind, and a murder. We found ourselves trapped there overnight, our old friendships concealed hatred and a desire for revenge. What followed was a game of cat and mouse, a battle of wits, full of twists and turns, building to an unforgettable climax. The night ended in violence and death. But who am I? My name is Elliot Chase, and I'm going to tell you a story unlike one you've ever heard. Like, I love that. I love that voice. I love how it's written. Like, I am tentatively really excited for this. The next 3 I have for for a video project, and I will not be answering any further questions at this time. Number 1, though, is Greek Lessons by Hong Kong. This one says it tells a story of two ordinary people brought together at a moment of private anguish. The fading light of a man losing his vision, meeting the silence of a woman who has lost her language. Yet these are the very things that draw them to each other. Slowly the two discover a profound sense of unity, their voices intersecting with startling beauty as they move from darkness to light, from silence to breath and expression. It's a story of the unlikely bond between this pair and a tender love letter to human intimacy and connection, a novel to awaken the senses, one that vividly conjures the essence of what it means to be alive. Like, literally, what a time to be alive, right? I mean, this sounds right up my alley. Sounds like we'll really get to know these characters as they get to know each other. Sounds like it could be very emotional. Sounds like it could be a win for me. Next is She is a Haunting by Trang Tan Tran. This is a YA horror novel, and it says, when Jade arrives in Vietnam to visit her estranged father, she has one goal: survive 5 weeks pretending to be a happy family in the French colonial house Ba is restoring. She's always lied to fit in, so if she's straight enough, Vietnamese enough, American enough, she can get out with the college money he promised. But the house has other plans. Night after night, Jade wakes up paralyzed. The walls exude a thrumming sound while bugs leave their legs. What? The walls exude a thrumming sound while bugs leave their legs and feelers in places they don't belong? What? She finds curious traces of her ancestors in the gardens they once tended, and at night, Jade can't ignore the ghost of the beautiful bride who leaves cryptic warnings. Don't eat. Neither Ba nor her sweet sister Lily believe anything strange is happening, and with help from a delinquent girl, Jade tries to expose the house's rotten appetite. A home, after all, is only as powerful as those who breathe new life into its bones, and this one is determined never to be abandoned again. Interesting. So it sounds like the order of don't eat means like if they do eat, they're going to be trapped there forever. And that's really, really interesting. I know I've heard some mixed things about it, but like it does sound like it has elements that I would really enjoy. So I am tentatively looking forward to it. Next is The Daughters of Izdihar by Hadir Elsbai. This is this author's debut novel, and it is the first in an incredibly powerful new duology set wholly in a new world, but inspired by modern Egyptian history, about two young women, Nahal, a spoiled aristocrat who is used to getting what she wants, and Georgina, a poor bookshop worker used to having nothing, who find they have far more in common, particularly in their struggle for the rights of women and their ability to fight for it with forbidden elemental magic. I personally love how this sounds, and it has a map in the beginning, which, you know, is destined to be a good time. It was published in 2023, and I hadn't heard anything about it. And I love her dedication page. It says, to my mother who always knew this would happen. I love that. We have 2 more, and I did talk about these 2 titles in one of my recent reading vlogs. I don't remember which one. But I got Toad by Catherine Dunn, and I love this cover. Love how this book sounds. What made me buy it is this little quote at the top. It says, Toad is a subdued, haunting novel. It's exhilarating and often disturbing. I didn't really need to hear much else. It says, Sally has withdrawn from the world. She spends her days home alone, reading drugstore mysteries, polishing doorknobs, waxing the floors. Her only companions are a vase of goldfish, a garden toad, and the door-to-door salesman who sells her cleaning supplies once a month. She broods over her deepest regrets, her blighted romances with self-important men, her lifelong struggle to feel at home in her own body, and her wayward early 20s when she was a fish out of water among a group of eccentric, privileged young people at a liberal arts college. There was Sam, an unabashed collector of other people's stories, Carlotta, a troubled free spirit, and Rennell, a self-obsessed philosophy student. Self-deprecating and sardonic, Sally recounts their misadventures up to the tragedy that tore them apart. Love this. Like, obviously that event, whatever happened, put her to be sort of like a recluse, and I'm just nosy. I want to know what happened. Next, we have The Water Outlaws by S.L. Huang. This is one that I just wanted. I wanted forever, and I thought that it was the start to a series, and that's why I hadn't bought it when it first came out, but now I'm like 99% sure that it's not a series because it is sort of a retelling. It's inspired by a classic of martial arts literature, which makes me think that it's a standalone in this one book. And it says, Lin is an expert arms instructor, training the Emperor's soldiers in sword and truncheon, battle axe and spear, lance and crossbow. Unlike bolder friends who flirt with challenging the unequal hierarchies and values of imperial society, she believes in keeping her head down and doing her job. Until a powerful man with a vendetta rips that carefully built life away. Disgraced, tattooed as a criminal, and on the run from the imperial marshal who will stop at nothing to see her dead, dead, Lin is recruited by the bandits of Langshan, mountain outlaws on the margins of society. The Langshan bandits proclaim a belief in justice for women, for the downtrodden, for progressive thinkers a corrupt empire would imprison or destroy. They're also murderers, thieves, smugglers, and cutthroats. Apart, they love like demons and fight like tigers. Together, they could bring down an empire. That paired with the amazing quotes on the back of the book praising this title, I think I could really like it. Plus, I mean, it's just such a stunning cover. That obviously means it's gonna be good, right? The last thing I want to show you is what one of my patrons, I almost said Bacon, but Dominique is my patron, but she has a pet pig named Bacon, and on the gift note, it's like Dominique and Bacon. But this is from them, and I am literally so excited. So obviously my Patreon is called The Greenhouse, and I put this on my wish list just to sort of like remind myself that I wanted to buy it for myself, but Dom and Bacon actually got it for me. And it is a DIY miniature dreamy garden house. Like, it's a greenhouse. It's a greenhouse, and it is a little like insert that I could put on my bookshelf, and it's so cute. I'm literally so excited about it. I'm definitely gonna build this during this month's exclusive reading vlog for my book club, and I can't wait. It's so stinking cute. Has a bunch of little like coffees, plants, chairs. It even has like a chandelier that actually lights up. I'm just so excited about it. It's adorable. Normally my book hauls are like a lot larger than this, but this was tamed. This was a tamed book haul. Oh my god, that's not it. There are more downstairs. Oh, let me go grab them. It's the fact that there's this many more and I forgot. Oops. First one I'm actually in the middle of, and it is The Will of the Many by James Islington. Whew, I'm out of breath from going up and downstairs. Okay, The Will of the Many is about a main character who is going to this academy under a false name, and he's basically trying to uncover any secrets or anything about a murder that was covered up, and things that he starts to uncover may start to tear this republic apart. There are multiple hierarchies, and it is called The Will of the Many because the people at the top of the pyramid are being ceded will from everyone below them. Once you graduate this academy, or even just, I think, just living in normal life, you can cede your will, which is defined as your strength, drive, and focus, to upper society members so that everyone is stronger together, that sort of thing. And our main character, Viz, has to make everyone in this academy believe that he's there just to purely study and graduate and eventually cede his will and be part of the normal society. But that's obviously not what he's there for. And if he cannot make them believe, then those who want to control him, know his real name, will no longer have any use for him. And if the hierarchy finds out who he really is, then they will kill him. High stakes. This sun is crazy right now. Crazy. But yeah, reading this one right now, I have to move my chair. Wow, pretty wild. Okay, next is Bright Young Women by Jessica Knoll. This is basically like a little mystery thriller told from the perspective of Ted Bundy's victims, a couple of them at least. And it talks about the investigations, the court hearings within the like trial cases of Ted Bundy. And I love in this book that Ted Bundy's never like overtly named. Like, it is not his book. It is a book for the women who were affected by him. He's never even named in it, which is phenomenal. I love that idea. And yeah, this one, as well as The Will of the Many, you will see in a vlog hopefully next week. Okay, next, because we're not done, is Blood Over Brighthaven by M.L. Wang. This is another book, I think in the same exact world as The Sword of Kaigen, and it's following our main character, Sayana, who has been an orphan since she was 4 and has always had more to prove than her fellow students. For 20 years, she has devoted every waking moment to the study of magic, fueled by a mad desire to achieve the impossible, to be the first woman ever admitted to the High Magistry. When she finally claws her way up to the ranks to become a High Mage, however, she finds that her challenges have just begun. Her new colleagues will stop at nothing to let her know she is unwelcome, beginning with giving her a janitor instead of a qualified lab assistant. What neither Sayana nor her peers realize is that her assistant was once more than a janitor. Before he mopped floors for mages, Tamil was a nomadic hunter from beyond the Terran's magical barrier. 10 years have passed since he survived the perilous crossing that killed his family, but working for a High Mage, he seized the opportunity to finally understand the forces that decimated his tribe, drove him from his homeland, and keep the Terranish in power. Through their fractious relationship, Mage and Outsider uncover an ancient secret that could change the course of magic forever, if it doesn't get them killed first. I know I love M.L. Wang's writing and storytelling, so this is a really exciting book to have in my hands and be able to pick up as soon as possible. This font is certainly a choice. Can't say that I love it at all, but that's okay. Sounds like I'll really like it though. Next, we have a gift from Michaela, one of my patrons, and it is Chlorine by Jade Song. Chlorine is about Ren, who is a swimmer. Her daily life starts and ends with the pool. Her teammates are her only friends. Her coach is her guiding light. She hopes to get scouted for a swimming scholarship, but these are human concerns. These are the concerns of those confined to land, those with legs. Ren grew up on stories of creatures in the deep, of the oceans and the rivers, creatures that called sailors to their doom, that dragged them down and drowned them, that feasted on their flesh, the creature that she's always longed to become, the mermaid. Ren aches to be in the water. She dreams of the scent of chlorine and feel it on her skin, and she will do anything she can to make a life for herself where she can be free, no matter the pain, no matter what anyone else thinks, no matter how much blood she has to spill. It's giving, what? That like Disney movie? Do you know what I'm talking about? What if? But I love it. It says it's blurring the line between literary coming of age and a dark, unsettling horror tale. Like, it sounds amazing. And Michaela said that she thinks that I'll really like it, and I am so inclined to believe her. Okay, there's really only 2 more this time, all right? The next one is The Center by Aisha Manazir Siddiqui. This cover, stunning. This is put on my radar from Noelle 7 Pages as well. From what I remember, this one is basically about a place that people go to learn languages, like entire languages, within a very short amount of time. But in order to do so, there are really high costs to this service. And that's all we know. It is obviously going to be something that we discover within the pages of what sinister things are actually going on at this place called The Center. I just feel like it's going to be a little bit creepy, a little bit high stakes, and I love that the main topic is like language. I think that's really fun, really interesting. I am so inclined to pick this up soon. Next, I'm so excited. Wow, there's another series here that is on the top of my list as well, and it is The Justice of Kings by Richard Swan. This is Empire of the Wolf series. I know the 3rd one, the final of the trilogy, is coming out really early this year, and everyone has been ranting and raving about the 2nd book in particular, saying that the series has just continued to get better, and this 1st book is also really good. And it's following our main character, Sir Conrad von Volt, who is an Emperor's Justice. He is detective, judge, and executioner all in one. The Empire of the Wolf simmers with unrest. Rebels, heretics, and powerful people all challenge the power of the imperial throne. Only the Order of Justices stand in the way of chaos, and Sir Conrad von Volt is the most feared justice of all, upholding the law by the weight of his sharp mind, arcane powers, and skill as a swordsman. At his side stands Helena, his talented protege, orphaned by the wars that forged the empire. When the pair investigates the murder of a provincial aristocrat, they unearth a conspiracy that stretches into the very top of imperial society. As the stakes rise and become ever more personal, von Volt and Helena, I'm not sure, must make a choice. Will they abandon the laws they've sworn to uphold in order to protect the empire? I've heard such great things about it. I think it's really interesting to be following someone who is like judge, jury, executioner all in one. Like, that sounds like a point of view that I've never read from before. Sounds really original. Sounds like I could really love it. Okay, that's actually it, I promise. Good work, everyone. We did it. Thank you to all my friends who have sent me books. I really appreciate it, and I love your love. And also always appreciate you guys for being here and hanging out with me for a little bit. Let me know if any of these books caught your eye. I would love to know. And if you don't know what else to say, then leave me the mermaid emoji down below in the comments. And while you're down there, don't forget to subscribe and like the video. I always appreciate your support. And of course, be kind to one another, and happy reading. Bye.